Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece chapter 900. 900 chapters. We're here, guys. We've gotten to 900 chapters, and oh boy, what a chapter this was. Now, for those wondering why I'm not doing, I've seen a lot of people doing live streams, and the reason why I'm not doing a live stream is that, don't get me wrong, chapter 900 is a big leap, especially with what happened in this chapter. But having said that, I want to say, for some reason, I feel like I want to save it for pretty much the big 1000th chapter. I feel that would be a much bigger leap. So yeah, that's kind of that's my promise to you guys. Expect a live stream when I'm doing when chapter 1000 drops. Like, that's my promise to you. I'm gonna keep it. Don't worry. I will do a live stream, my first ever live stream, when chapter 1000 of One Piece drops. That's my promise to you guys. Now, let's get into this chapter and into this chapter 900. And let's get right off the bat into the ending of this chapter, and I'm just going to get this out of the way now. It was dramatic, I'm not going to lie, but more in the sense where it's concerned about the Sunny than the actual crew, because we all know they're not dead, and Oda's playing it up for some big grand escape in the end. But was the Sunny really just destroyed? And if it was, is Frankie gonna have to make an entirely new ship now? Like, the only reason I'm questioning something like this is that I'm rather confused how to feel about this. If the Sunny is gone, its destruction was kinda anticlimactic, which does show even when you do something nice for her, Big Mom never forgets to return a threat to her. But I feel the Sunny's destruction as a whole just felt a touch forced, unlike the Mary's destruction, which did have an actual build up to it. And if I had a theory about how the Straughts are gonna get out of this, then I imagine the Sun Pirates are gonna help in some way or another. Like, the Sun Pirates are gonna be a pivotal point definitely towards saving them. Now, having said that, in terms of the actual in terms of Big Mom's whole destroying the Straw Hats thing, I do gotta admit that there is a very interesting underlying message here about how honestly, when you really think about how this, I guess in a way, when you really think about how this happened to begin with, about how the Straw Hats ended up getting blessed, about how the Straw Hats ended up getting dying, so to speak. Um, it really brings up an interesting point, which is, would it have been better if they just if they just let if they just let if they just let if they just let Big Mom on just let Big Mom pretty much go on her rampage? I mean, if you think if you really look at this, then Big Mom being fed that cake, it really turned into it really, like, the cake being fed the cake itself, it really turned into the Straw Hats downfall. Like, if the I'm sure there are there are definitely a lot of variables to consider here, but if you really look at the grand scheme of things, if the Straw Hats hadn't fed her the cake, what would do you think this do you think they would have a better chance of escaping Big Mom in the do you think they would have a better chance of escaping Big Mom and the and her pirate and her crew? Like, that really does boggle the mind when you think about it. If even though the Sun Pirates and the VIN Smokes ended up coming to their aid, it really didn't matter much in the end. And Big Mom being fed like that, it did kind of turn into their greatest downfall. So it's all pretty much it all turns into a what if scenario. Like, what if Sanji hadn't fed her the cake? Now, granted, it did leave some very great development, so to speak, but developments it did lead to some great characterization on Sanji's part. But yeah, it is a giant what if situation. Like, what if Sanji just left well enough alone and didn't feed her the cake? Like, it's really interesting when you think about it. Like, if he didn't do any of that shit, then what would have what would have happened? It really is an interesting look. But yeah, but yeah. Bottom line here, because Sanji ended up saving Big Mom in the end, it pretty much killed it. It pretty much put them in the situation they are now. Now, like I said, I don't believe for a second they're dead. Like I said, I don't believe for a second they're dead. In fact, like I said, I think the one way they'll escape is through the Sun Pirates. But yeah, like that's really kind of insane. That in the end, it's really a fascinating what if question. Really, like what if they just left well enough alone and let Big Mom continue her rampage? What would have happened? Like, would they have a better chance of escaping? Maybe, but I think this also brings up I think this also brings up an interesting lesson for Luffy that you can't do everything with just your crew alone too. You need help. And I'm this is also why I'm praying that eventually the what is it? Eventually the Straw Hat Armada is going to be coming to play into the future, especially if they're going to be facing Kaido later on. Like seriously, Big Mom. I bet Kaido is going to make Big Mom look like a pansy. That's the scary part of this all too. But yeah. So moving on. Uh, on the flip side of what happened there, we also see the VIN Smokes are pretty much going to die, which we all knew was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And I guess knowing Oda, it was kind of obvious he was saving this. He was saving that for the big climax. Although, like, they haven't died yet, but when they do, like, okay, Judge, Ichiji, Miji, and Yonji, go fuck yourselves. But Reiju, don't, please. You're gonna kill Reiju, aren't you, Oda? Please, don't kill Reiju. She was the only good one of the bunch. Like seriously, you kill Reiju, then that only leaves Sanji. But I wanted at least one of the good one of his family to survive. Like man, Oda, damn you. But yeah, and honestly, it is actually a bit of irony in there is actually a bit of irony in the way they're being defeated, which is that Judge's weapons he developed in order to I want to presume keep his children under control are being used against them now. Like it are being used against them by pretty much the enemy. Like from what we understand of the chapter, it looks like Charlotte Oven managed to actually get a hold of some specialized bullets that apparently Judge had created, I presume, in order to keep his children under control after he had modified them with the cybernetics. But even then, that's also like really Judge. You're really that much of a fucking. You're really that much of a. You're really that much of a fucker that you'd actually use weapons against your own children. I mean, I know it's to protect yourself, man, but seriously, do you Judge, like I get Judge is protective, I get that, but he's like everything everything we learn about a type of technology or something else he's developed just really it adds mystique to him, but at the same time it also makes me realize how much of an asshole he is even more. So it's like, yeah, Judge, I'm not gonna miss your dumb ass. Although I am interested in learning about your connection to about your connection to to Doctor Vegapunk. Like I'm really hoping we get a bit of now that we got introduced to Vince to Judge, it did open the door to get more insight in the future on Vince on Vegapunk as well. So there's that. But yeah, Judge as a character is like, yeah, fuck you, Judge. Seriously. Um, Now, one thing I liked about this chapter is that okay, like I said, the whole thing about Big Mom devouring the cake, it did turn into the Strad's greatest downfall. But at the same time, there is a certain aspect of this that is interesting, which is that if you look at Big Mom devouring the cake and Perospero broadcasting the end of her rage, it pretty much has the setup, just different circumstances, very different circumstances actually, of every single moment that Strauss have defeated an enemy for all intents and purposes. For all intents and purposes, I think beyond this point, the fight with Big Mom is the whole struggle with Big Mom on Whole Cake Island is now over. Like And funny thing is, it wasn't even Luffy, it was Sanji. And not through kicks, fists, or fighting in general, but through the one skill that, in the end, Sanji's most known for, his cooking. That's what made this all possible, which, again, is so fucked up to say, but at the same time, it did kinda defeat It did. It's so fucked up to say because in the end, Big Mom did end up killing the Straw Hats, but at the same time, or she didn't end up like or severely wounding the Straw Hats and just destroying the Sunny. But in the end, it was that was basically Oda's way of saying that this is pretty much how the Straw Hats are going to defeat Big Mom for now. So it's like, yeah, like it's a really again really fucked up, but at the same time that they did kind of defeat Big Mom, just not in the way you would expect, I suppose. Or yeah, I don't know what to even make of this situation, but it is their Oda's way of their him showing that this is the way they're going to defeat Big Mom for now, and I'm hoping from here they're gonna I hope they're gonna get stronger. That's all I'm hoping for right now. Um, Also, even though it was a small instance, page 5, upper bottom left panel, just said everything that needed to be reconfirmed about Sanji. And uh, even though in the even though in the end he does fight alongside the Strats and is their chef, I think that also shows that morally Sanji doesn't care if you're an enemy or not. If he's given the opportunity, he to show it, in order to show it, I think Sanji will in fact show that if given the opportunity, Sanji will pretty much show that he like the thing is Sanji has not changed a bit since he was first introduced. He's always been about feeding people first. It doesn't matter whether you're enemy, friend, or whatever. He's always been like that. And again, I keep coming back to it, but as fucked up as it is, as fucked up as the situation created, he did it because that's who he is. That's pretty much all Sanji knows. So it's one of those weird things where the end result ended up totally screwed up, but it's who Sanji is. It's who he is, and I can't really fault him for that. I really can't because it's just who he is as a character. Although I do have to say, Oda, you just couldn't fucking resist, could you? You just had to show us. You just had to show us that kind of image. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to page 6 of the chapter and you'll see in full view Big Mom having, I guess, a food orgasm or something. I don't know what the fuck to call it, to be honest with you. Just seeing that supposed beauty mugshot of hers was just creepy as fuck. And yeah, Oda, I'm begging you, never ever do that kind of image. Never ever show us that kind of image again. Like, she's creepy enough already. We don't need you enhancing it with little shit like that. But yeah, here, like, this is. I know you guys know the page I'm talking about, but I'm going to show you anyway. This page, I have to show it on angle because the flash kind of because the flash and glare gets in the way. But yeah, that image, just what the fuck, Oda? What the fuck? What are you doing, man? Seriously? Like, I think I'm gonna make that my thumbnail. But yeah, Oda, like, seriously, what are you doing, man? To us, that was just totally uncalled for and unnecessary. Like, seriously. Um. Now, after after Big Mom supposedly was subdued or returned to normal, we see the entirety of Whole Cake Island basically celebrating and giving false adulation to Pudding. And I like how that particular scene showed that Pudding is actually kind of torn about accepting the praise, because this actually, to me, this opens up more avenues for her to develop even more as a character than what we got here. Now, the question remains: does that mean the split personality thing will disappear eventually? Next time we see her, I'm gonna say probably not, because I like to think Oda will keep that around as a funny character quirk because we definitely know that whenever Oda creates a character, he always creates them with some kind of funny or quirky part of their personality or who they are as a character in order to make them stand out. So, and the whole split personality thing is something that makes Pudding stand out. So I don't think he's actually going to let it go. Like I think it is going to remain a part of her throughout pretty much the rest of the series. And and what even kind of brings me forward into that line of thinking um, is especially how Oda played it up as how Oda even managed to play it up for comedy in the later portions of the arc. So yeah, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for this review. Again, an amazing chapter. I don't know what's gonna happen from here, or what's gonna happen to Sunny if even like if the if Frankie's gonna build a new ship or what's gonna happen from here. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Not Joining Me. Signing off. Later, guys.